Hi everyone and welcome to this new phrasal verbs session. So today I will be helped by Shako, that is in artificial intelligence, to go deep in the meaning of 5 phrasal verbs. So the first one is fill up. The second one is own up, lock in, fill in, heat up. So there are 5 phrasal verbs to understand in a deep manner. So let's try with the first phrasal verb. Define the phrasal verb fill up. As a Shako, I can tell you that the phrasal verb fill up is a colloquial expression that means to feel good or happy. It is often used to describe positive emotional state or a feeling of well-being. For example, someone might say, I feel up today, to mean that they are feeling good and content. The phrase feel up can be also used in a more sexual context, but it is important to note that this usage is not appropriate in all situations and can be considered offensive. So the phrasal verb fill up is often used in when we express emotions or positive emotions or a feeling of well-being. For example, I feel up today. That means that I feel energetic and in good mood and also in a romantic mood. So it can also have a sexual connotation, but it is considered as being offensive. So I will ask Shako to give me some examples. Certainly, here are a few examples of the phrasal verb fill up used in different contexts. I feel up today. This means that the speaker is feeling good and content. I'm not feeling up to going out tonight. This means that the speaker is not feeling well or is not in the mood of socializing. Can you fill up the package and make sure it's not damaged? This means to examine the package to see if it has been damaged or is otherwise in good condition. She filled up the man at the bar and asked him out. This means that the woman flirted with the man and asked him out on a date. I don't feel up to talking about this right now. This means that the speaker is not in the mood to discuss the topic at hand. So now I will ask Shako to give me some synonyms. Give me some synonyms. Sure, here are some synonyms of the phrasal verb fill up. Feel good, feel happy, feel content, feel satisfied, feel at ease, feel relaxed, feel positive, feel cheaper, feel cheaper, feel cheerful, feel upbeat. I hope these synonyms are helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions. So no other questions because we have now the meaning of the phrasal verb fill up, and that means to be happy and in good mood, or to touch someone sexually, or even if you say, can you fill up the package? So that to examine the package. Okay, I don't feel up for talking about this right now, so I'm not in the mood to talk about this topic or this subject at hand or now. So the synonyms of feel up are feel good, feel happy, feel content, feel satisfied, feel at ease, feel relaxed, feel positive, feel cheaper, feel cheerful, feel upbeat. Feel upbeat. So let's go to the second phrasal verb, own up. Define the phrasal verb own up. As Shako, I can tell you that the phrasal verb own up is a colloquial expression that means to admit to something or to take responsibility for one's actions. So own up means you admit the responsibility for something. It is often used to express remorse. So you use own up because you have a remorse about something you have done, or you have done something bad, and you want to repair it, to give a reparation. It is often used to express remorse or to acknowledge that one is at fault. For example, someone might say, I own up to having made a mistake. I own up to having made a mistake. I recognize, I admit to having made a mistake. To mean that they are admitting that they made a mistake and taking responsibility for it. The phrase I own up can also be used in a more general sense to mean to take responsibility for something or to admit to something regardless of whether or not it is one's fault. I can give an example. For example, I own up for being late. For example, it is not my fault, but I recognize or that I am late, and I am sorry for that. So let's ask Shako to give me some examples. Give me some examples. Certainly, here are a few examples of the phrasal verb own up used in different contexts. I know I made a mistake and I own up to it. This means that the speaker is admitting that they made a mistake and taking responsibility for it. I don't want to take responsibility for what happened, but I own up if I have to. This means that the speaker is acknowledging that they may be at fault, but they are not willing to take full responsibility. She didn't want to admit that she was wrong, but in the end she had to own up to it. This means that the person being referred to initially refused to admit that they were wrong, but eventually had to acknowledge it and take responsibility. He was trying to deny that he stole the money, but eventually he had to own up to it. This means that the person being referred to was initially trying to deny that they stole the money, but eventually had to admit to it and take responsibility. I don't want to be the one to own up to this, but I have to. This means that the speaker is acknowledging that they are the one who needs to take responsibility for something, but they do not want to do so. I hope these examples are helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions. So, just some synonyms of own up. So certainly here are some synonyms of the phrasal verb own up. Admit to, confess to, take responsibility for, acknowledge, be accountable for, be in charge of, be responsible for, be the one who did it, be the one to blame, be the one to answer for. So that's very good. Let's go to the third phrasal verb, that is lock in. Okay, I forget to add. As Shako, I can tell you that the phrase lock-in is used in different contexts and can have different meaning depending on the context in which it is used. To secure something, the phrase lock-in can be used to describe the act of securing something, such as locking a door, securing a transaction, or securing a deal. For example, I need to lock in the order before it expires. Or we need to lock in our investment before the market changes, so to secure it. To fix something in place, the phrase lock in can also be used to describe the act of fixing something in place, such as locking in a price, locking in a rate, or locking a policy. For example, we locked in our mortgage rate to avoid future increase. Or we locked in our electricity rate to save money. And the third meaning, to commit to something. The phrase lock in can also be used to describe the act of committing to something, such as locking in a commitment, locking in a plan, or locking in a strategy. For example, we locked in our travel plans for next year, or we locked in our marketing strategy for the next quarter. So they are now committing in that marketing strategy or in that travel plan. They can't change it. We are locked in our travel plans, so they can't change that travel plan. Or, for example, we are locked in our subscription now that we have paid for it. So we are locked in our subscription because we have paid for that subscription. So we can't change it. So give me some examples. Now give me more examples. Here are some additional examples of the phrase lock-in used in different contexts. To secure a spot or reservation, I need to lock in my hotel reservation for the conference, or we need to lock in our seats for the concert. To secure a product or service, we need to lock in our software license agreement before the end of the month, or we need to lock in our health insurance coverage for the new year. To secure a position or role, I need to lock in my job offer before I accept it, or we need to lock in our team for the upcoming season. To secure a deal or agreement, we need to lock in our business partnership agreement before it expires, or we need to lock in our merger agreement before the deadline. To secure a future event or experience, I need to lock in our vacation plans for next year, or we need to lock in our honeymoon package for the summer. So some synonyms of lock in. So the synonyms of lock in are secure, fix, commit, reserve, reserve in advance, book, confirm, set aside, reserve for oneself, set aside for oneself, reserve for a particular purpose, set aside for a particular purpose, set aside for a particular individual or group, set aside for a particular period of time. So now let's go to the fourth phrasal verb, fill in. Define the phrasal verb fill in. The phrasal verb fill in has several meanings, but it is most commonly used to describe the act of completing a form or providing information in response to a question or prompt. For example, you might say, I need to fill in my address on this form, or can you fill in the missing information on this report? In these cases, the speaker is referring to the act of providing information in the appropriate fields or boxes on a form or document. So fill in here means to complete a form, to complete informations in a form, like a name and address, etc. The phrase verb fill in can also be used to describe the act of telling someone about someone or something else. For example, you might say, I'll fill in my colleague on what happened at the meeting. So I will tell him about what had happened in the meeting. Or the tour guide filled in the group about the history of the castle. In these cases, the speaker is referring to the act of providing information about someone or something else. So, give me more examples. So the first example is to provide information. Can you fill in the missing details on this report? Or I need to fill in my colleagues on the project status. To complete a form, I need to fill in my tax form before the deadline. Or can you fill in my name on this contract? To tell someone about someone or something else, I'll fill in my sister on what happened at the party. Or the tour guide filled in the group about the history of the castle. To provide background information, the teacher filled in the class on the significance of the Magna Carta, or the reporter filled in the audience on the latest developments in the investigation. To provide additional information, the scientist filled in the journalists on the results of the experiment, or the politician filled in the voters on this platform for the election. So some some synonyms. So I'm asking Shako to give me some synonyms of this phrasal verb, that is feeling. Okay, the synonyms are provide, supply, give, furnish, complete, include, mention, report, inform, update, give an account, tell, describe, explain, give details. So let's go to the last phrasal verb, heat up. The meaning of the phrasal verb heat up. So the phrasal verb heat up has several meanings, but it is most commonly used to describe the process of becoming warm or hot. For example, you might say, the weather is going to heat up later today. So it's going to be warmer, to be hotter. The weather is going to heat up later today. Or the soup is getting too hot to eat. Can you turn down the heat? In these cases, the speaker is referring to the process of the temperature increasing. The phrasal verb heat up can also be used to describe the growth or development of a situation or idea. For example, you might say, the debate over the new policy is really heating up. So it's growing. This debate is growing. The debate over the new policy is really heating up. So here this debate is so we are describing a development of this debate or the situation. Or the popularity of that TV show is really heating up now that it's on Netflix. This popularity is heating up, it's growing. In these cases, the speaker is referring to the increase in attention or interest surrounding the issue or idea. It is an increase in attention or interest that surrounds the issue or idea. So give me more examples. So, for example, to become warm or hot. The weather is going to heat up later today. Or I'm feeling a bit warm. Can you turn on the air conditioning? To grow in popularity or attention, the new movie is really heating up at the box office. Or the company's stock has really heated up in the past year. To become more intense or animated, the debate over the new policy is really heating up, or the game is getting really intense now that it's tied in the final minutes. To become more active or engaged, the students are really heating up their campaign for the upcoming election, or the athletes are really heating up for the championship game. To become more passionate or emotional, the couple's relationship is really heating up now that they're spending more time together, or the speech really heated up at the rally when she talked about the issue. So let's ask Shako to give some synonyms. So some synonyms of the word heat up is warm up, get hot, heat, increase in temperature, rise in temperature, grow in popularity, attract attention, become more intense, become more animated, become more passionate. So I hope that these definitions and were sufficient to understand deeply the meaning of these phrasal verbs own up, fill up, lock in, fill in, and heat up. So thank you for watching and to another training session.